Jesus says that he's come that we might have life and have that life more abundantly. And he's put in us so many gifts, so much desires. And every one of us has a vocation to some sort of life work. But sometimes we think that what we're passionate about couldn't possibly be what God's called us to do because there's no money in it, or no one would be interested in it, or you can't really do that. But we fail to realize that we serve a very creative God who desires to put all pieces together, joining our passions with the world's needs. Now, let me read this quote to you. It says, "The kind of work God usually calls you to is the kind of work that A, you need most to do, and B, that the world needs most to have done. If you really get a kick out of your work, you've presumably met requirement A. But if your work is writing TV deodorant commercials, the chances are you've missed requirement B. On the other hand, if your work is being a doctor in a leper colony, you've probably met requirement B. But if most of the time you're bored and depressed by it, chances are you have not only bypassed A, but probably aren't helping your patients out much either." Now listen to this part. "Neither the hair shirt nor the soft berth will do. The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet." Frederick Buechner. That's what God's called us to. That place where our deep gladness and the world's hunger meets.
Enjoy the life, it's passing you by. Oh, and let the sun fall all around you. Just take a moment to smell the roses. Let go of pride. Don't forget the roads you walked, or the things you learned while you were gone. 'Cause you pulled wisdom from the wreckage. You'll be glad when this is all over that someone told you to take a moment, just breathe, just breathe, go on and just breathe, go on and just breathe. It'll be all right. Brush the cares right off your shoulders. You were never meant for those, even when you're older. You've got permission to be free.
Spin around. Leg down. Kiss me. Kiss me. Big hug.
What is that? That's the old one. Well, okay.
About 3 years ago, we had a moment where, my great passion, the world's hunger met. Not quite so dramatic, but about 3 years ago, my good friend Christina and I decided to start a blog together and thereby a business called The Provision Room, where we write about what we're passionate about: healthy food, loving our husband and children, making our homes beautiful, finding rest, discovering who God created us to be in the genius of women. And it's been when you're doing something that you love, it never feels like work. So whether I'm in the kitchen developing a new recipe that's going to go on the website, whether I'm playing a game with my kids, or finding a new healthy way to disinfect the bathroom, all these things are joys to me. When someone writes into the provision room and says, hey, I used your recipe for this, or I tried what you recommended here, or I read this book that you recommended, it gives us so much joy to know that people's lives are actually being changed, that home lives are becoming more abundantly joy-filled, that in some small way a light is being sent forth from home. Because really we believe that home is where it's at. So often we can build our lives everywhere else, at the office, at the school, at the gym, shopping or whatever. We find our joy, our fulfillment out there. But home is the center. That's where the Holy Spirit wants to come and dwell and fill with joy and laughter and His presence. And that's what we do at the provision room. We encourage that. It's all about abundant, home-centered living. So in that small way, I'm being able to do what I love and love what I do, create a stream of income for my family, and it never feels like work. It's possible. Ladies, whatever your deep desire is, whatever you're passionate about, don't limit the Lord. See how He might work that into a blessing for your life, for your family's life, for your community's life. And I pray that God leads you in that way. And check us out on the Provision Room, theprovisionroom.com. We've got articles and recipes and ebooks and videos, and we're told that we are a little bit quirky, but we've owned it. Quirky is the new sexy, y'all.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?